A'udhu billahi minash shaitani rajeem. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Ati'ullah, ati'ur Rasul wa ulil amri minkum. And always a reminder for myself and Abdul Jisa da'ifu, miskeen, zalim, jahad. But for the grace of Allah that we're still in existence, alhamdulillah. I think we've covered a lot of information, so it's better to see what people have as questions and to go over things we've probably talked about instead of just keep saying more things. InshaAllah, what we have from online and what people are asking, InshaAllah, from the emails and online, InshaAllah.
As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sayyidi, can humans recover their true essence after giving themselves over to the jinns as the 99% of being possessed by the jinns?
I didn't understand. What happened?
Sayyidi, this question comes, can humans recover their true essence after giving themselves over to the jinns?
InshaAllah, that's the whole secret of tariqah. That's why we said the people whom are not in tariqah, do you really think they have the ability to guide themselves? Means that when Allah describes in Holy Qur'an that there's only guidance from Allah, whom Allah guides is truly guided. And then we teach also that through Surat al-Kahf, which is the secret of guidance, and everything within Surat al-Kahf is about guidance, especially the guidance in the last days and the protection against the Dajjal and deceit. Because guidance is a battle against deception. When someone says, you're guided, why? So it means in this dark room which is zulm, you have to get from the one door to the back door. How do you get through that in darkness, because darkness means zulm and oppression. And then Prophet described Dajjal as a deceit. Our word in Arabic is not Antichrist, we said before, we have nothing to do with Christ, but is deception. And in every religion he will have his hand to deceive. Can you fight deception by yourself? Not you, not the companions, not anyone did that by themselves. They were in need of guidance, they were in need of following a guide, and they needed to be within a community of guidance. And this is the secret of Islam. And the secret of Islam, the soul of Islam is the tariqas, because they kept the way. They kept the concept that we have to find a guide and that to admit to ourselves we know nothing. And when we know even you know everything, you admit to yourself you know nothing, because the secret is to keep the heart, the cup empty so Allah can continuously fill knowledges, because no matter what we know we still know nothing in the oceans of Allah's rahmah and mercy that can't be understood and has no limit. So when we describe the shaitan promises to attack from 6 directions. So imagine you step into a room and 6 directions of gravity are attacking you. Something will pull you forward, something will pull you back, something will pull you right, something will pull you left, something will pull you up and something will pull you down. Who can possibly battle against that? No one, except itasimu bihablillah wa tafarraqu, that hold tight to the rope and don't separate. Why? Because as Allah knows this creation, Allah sent down shaitan into this abode and 6 directions he's pushing you and pulling you and lifting you and dumping you. So then that becomes clear, the rope, that we have to have a rope from heaven to hold on to as shaitan is attacking, because this is Qur'an. When Allah hold tight to the rope. Outside of tariqah, what do they understand from the rope? The imam, he gets paid, he goes home, he doesn't care if you listen to his talk, he's not a guide. He's not ever insulting, but that's not his job. Even you talk to imams, they say, I'm not responsible for you, they paid me some money, I sit here, I give you Jummah and I leave. But guidance and the shaykhs, waliyun murshidun, Allah gives in Surat Al-Kahf, I assign to you waliyun murshidun, whom what? His wilayat or his connection and his love for the Divine, and that he's a murshid. Allah's giving the title, that he is a guide, that he has the sifat al-rashid. Allah dressed him with irshad and guidance, and we described in many talks what the secret of is, what they have to be trained and everything. So they become a rope because they have to be the people of hidayat, they have to be from the ba has to be from Ahlul Bahr al-Qudra, they have to have from the oceans of power, and they have to have a tongue of truth that speaks from the world of light. This is never any type of bragging, but this lisan of the heavens is not something people can find. It's not like you read a book and you can talk about heavenly knowledges, now your tongue is from a heavenly tongue. Bahabl means that these are the people whom they have this guidance, Allah dressed them from this ocean of power. They are the people of hubb and love, and they have a tongue connected from the heavens. Their tongue is a rope. Because it's a conveyance of a haqqaiq that grabs your soul. Because again the world of light is not understood. If they teach you 2-3 letters of reality, they grab your soul. Because that reality that came to you is not dunya, it's a reality from all of eternity. And that's why Imam Ali said, if somebody taught you knowledges, Divinely knowledges, you owe them your life. Because the knowledge they convey is from the world of light that immediately enters into your soul, and like a lock and a chain it locks onto the soul because it's conveying realities at all time. So that's why then the tongue of the people of malakut is a rope. Immediately they begin to speak, they give awrads, they give zikrs, they give the du'as. These are ropes that lock onto the soul like an umbilical cord, and the continuous faiz and emanations and realities are flowing into people. It's never ending. One haqqaiq that you've been taught, does it end? Every night you can ask again, Ya Rabbi I want to go into that ocean of reality. I said one time with these awliya and they told me this, and every night you ask Allah I want to go deeper into that reality. It never ends, there's no, it's not finite where, oh I understood, no. That's why they can talk every year a haqqaiq and the haqqaiq keeps expanding. So it means then their tongue, the conveyance of realities locks to the souls of people. As a result of looking to the souls of people, they begin to send the faiz, the emanation, Divinely grace and the knowledges that have power. Because when you hear knowledge your soul asks for its reality, your soul goes and gets loaded. Like a Tesla supercharging. You're the actual Tesla vehicle, right? We are the actual electronic vehicle. Because we come on this earth and we only have a limited power, and you go for 200 kilometers and you're out of gas, out of power, you can't do nothing. You have no ability to recharge yourself. So outside of tariqah, how does somebody recharge themselves? How do they bring an energy that will overcompensate negative energy and shut down negative energies? Will they make salah but shaitan is inside them? Will they make wudu but shaitan is inside them? What will they do to be safe from these negativities and push away negativities? That's why Allah gave to us the secret. The secret is not in loneliness by yourself, it's not in your solitude and it's not in your isolation, but you have to be connected to a shaykh and guide. As a result of the connection to the guides, they reach you wherever you are. Then you understand, oh now I need to be charged. Yeah, every time you go into sujood you're dumping your negative energy. Every time you make your muraqabah, Allah's supercharging, because you have to have a charging unit. If you're not the charging unit yet, you're just a simple battery that only has a certain amount of kilometers. You go 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 months, 4 months, how much you gonna go without being charged? That's why Allah's showing these electric batteries, these cars, these things that don't move very far, and you keep having to go charge them. So you're in need of a source of power. Your salah is a way to empty some of your negative energy, but you probably take in more negative than you're disposing, because not that many people go in a sujood for very long. All day, all work, all gossip, all television, all music, all their life, every type of fitna shaitan is throwing on them, the fashion is being influenced by them. We describe the 6 directions shaitan is attacking and why we teach about 6 directions, and other people don't understand why this Shaykh talks about this. Because shaitan is dealing with fashion, so he pulls you in that direction. Why? So that the fashion will kill you, the fabric will kill you, and you have no protection outside of the sunnah. Shaitan will attack you with the food, so that the food you eat is intoxicating you, is making you to be sick. Shaitan will take you with every pride and arrogance, so that you feel prideful and boastful. Means every direction that shaitan is attacking people, do they really stand a chance without guidance? No. That's why you see them, you watch now life is like you can watch other people's lives through social media. So, hey look, some influencer comes, influencer means shaitan is playing with them, and you see them eventually losing their Islam. They start taking their hat off, they start looking too cool but not pious. Everything about them begin to change until by the end they have a tattoo, they change their clothes and they're out influencing and working for shaitan full time. Because you can see the model of people are not successful by themselves, because Allah didn't want people to be by themselves. Allah wanted people to keep the hand of Prophet within their lives. So the tariq, the path, istaqamu fi tariqat, when Allah is giving in Surah Jinn, hold tight to your tariqah and don't let it go. And as a result, when you follow the guidance, you follow the teachings, you're following the shaykhs, you have a rope. And this rope is a portable battery for you. Anytime you feel your battery is dying and going down, what? They're not a temporary battery. They reach their eternal reality where they have their own perpetual charging unit, because they mastered the system of tafakkur, in which they're continuously in the presence of their shaykhs, continuously receiving their faiz. So their battery is continuous, and as a result whomever comes to their supercharging station, what happens? Their vehicle can be charged. This is not a shirk, this is not a worshipness, this is a khidmat, is a gift from Allah. Just like the charging station for your Tesla, it's not a shirk, right? You have to stop at the market and charge it. This is a shirk with Allah. Why? You were supposed to put it where to get it charged? But right, so the shaykhs are not like that. Allah made them like a nuclear power plant, that they don't have to be charged because they have a system within themselves continuously charging. Then they found out there are submarines that work on hydrogen. They take the water from the ocean and they have an hydrogen engine within them, not even nuclear engine, hydrogen engine, and they go for a lifetime, they'll never have to need gas. And it's interesting that their submarine look like a fish, because shaitan always copying the reality that awliya, they're like the huge whales of the ocean. They're given a system in which Allah has given to them, their energy is supercharged, and they teach people, connect your heart, You're an energy being. Wherever you are, connect your heart, visualize the connection, ask to be connected to them, and as a result your heart will look into them and be supercharged. The knowledges they convey to you send you more information. The khidmat that they advise you to do brings Allah's rahmah, like opening gates of God's mercy. He's happy, so, oh my servant is serving my community, serving my creation. When Allah's happy even more rahmah is coming. That's why then they advise and teach. They teach the characteristics to open God's rahmah and mercy upon the servant. And Allah describes, ittaqullah wa kunu ma'a sadiqeen. Only the people who are in the schools of taqwa, they would keep the company of the sadiq. Sadiq are people truthful in their action and deeds. They try their best for their deeds to be truthful, their actions to be truthful, and the characteristics to be truthful. And Allah when He speaks, He doesn't speak for dunya. Because Qur'an is for all of the created universes and malakut, all the angels, all are subject to the Holy Qur'an. So it's not for this earth. This is a tiny microscopic earth, it's insulting for Allah for you to think the Qur'an is for this tiny microscopic epsilon of a creation. Qur'an is for all the created universes are subject to the Holy Qur'an, and all the malakut is subject to Holy Qur'an. So when Allah said, kunu ma'a sadiqeen, means everything in Allah's creation is ordered, keep the company of the sadiq. Why? Because Allah rida with them. Allah said, I'm with Nabi'een, Siddiqeen, Shuhada'i wa Saliheen, and this is the best of company. So these sadiqs, they're connected to this energy power. Allah with them, energies with them, these realities flow through them. As a result they're supercharging stations. And the amazing miraculous reality is you don't need a physical. Imagine if you had a Tesla that you could spiritually charge. You make a madad and all of a sudden you don't even need to plug it, wirelessly it'll come in charged. This is the nature of what Allah has given to the people of faith, right? The shaitans, they don't have that power. So everything has to be a mechanical device. So they have to teach people, oh connect to this mechanical device. Now you want some knowledges, let's connect you to a Neuralink. They say the Neuralink was discovered in the 80s but not talked about. They're going to put a chip in the back of your head to give you knowledge from dunya. So everything coming to you from dunya, but what about heavens? Allah has all of those realities. That you make your madad, you receive a heavenly Neuralink. A cable will be placed within the heart of the servant, burn through all the negativity of the cage of the chest, and as a result begin to place a connection within their heart and within the base of the neck, so that the qudra, the power that flows within them and the knowledges flow within their heart. So these are all spiritual. For the people of faith Allah says, very easy. You just have to have faith, listen to these practices and you become connected. Connected until you feel so much heat and so much energy so that they can light your heart. If they be able to light you, you stay long enough to be lit, you become an eternal light. Because everybody has a temporary, that's why they need to keep going to a charging station. But once the internal and eternal heart is lit with the qudra and they stay lit, they stay with the immense amounts of energies that the Shaykh has taught them, now they have a very strong connection. Why? Because they have their power source. They understood that the Shaykh is always with them like a power jacket, like a battery packet, and that the Shaykh is always with them, always receiving faiz. Wherever they are they're lit, their energy is sufficient. The rest of the world is panicking, we're not going to have power, or Teslas are not going to work, our computer is not going to work, our phone is not going to work, none of it will work but the heart of the believer. So when Allah brings this satanic kingdoms down all over the earth, they're panicking, what are we going to do? We have no internet, we're not going to have anything, we're going to have no connection to anything. But for how many years they're broadcasting this channel that prepare, that yes they know that they're going to pull the plug because Allah's going to pull the plug. And when Allah pulls the plug, what happens? Those whom connect through their heart, their connection should be magnified. 1 week of darkness and no power, your connection should begin to magnify, because you're not relying upon the satanic system and you're relying upon the Rahmani system, in which the heart of the believer becomes powered, the vision of the believer becomes powered. So everything that Allah turns off for dunya, Allah turns on for akhirah people. So this is the hikmah of training in these realities, the hikmah of connecting to an eternal power source. We described last night, just the kalam should be amazing for people. When Allah guides you, He guides you to an entire system from the heavens, that every letter and every word being recited in these base languages, the heavenly languages. We said if Qur'an came in Arabic it was described in Farsi. All the Naqshbandi masters are Khurasan. So it means then the root of Urdu and Pashto is all based on Farsi. So this Arabic and Farsi, Urdu, Pashto, these heavenly languages, every letter has a power. What kind of people can sit and say, "Who?" and now all the electricity in the air, the secret within every atom begins to manifest for them. Shaitan doesn't have that, Chinese doesn't have that, French absolutely doesn't have that, Italian worse than anything has nothing, and English is all cursing. So that's what Zulqarnain meant when he said, "I came across a people who had barely a spoken word and that they asked for help from unseen forces," because Mawlana Shaykh describes in his tafsir of Surat al-Kahf that they were telling Zulqarnain that every time they come into our realm they destroy everything. So then what they're putting on their propaganda, something coming into this realm, we don't know when, maybe they think it's April coming, April 8th, they think maybe the lights go off, because you know when lights go off the magic comes out. That the most dangerous time of the month is when the month dies. Right before the birth of a new month the magicians come out, because the darkness. The moon is a power source based on guidance. That's why full moon makes people crazy. The devils they have inside them burn from the qamar. So these are big secrets. The sun is a shams, is a Divinely fire. So when the shams is ignited and the qamar comes before the shams, means that Prophet and Maqam al-Fardani are directing an amr upon this earth. Malaikah wa ruh, it's coming in Qadr, and it is the tafsir of Surat al-Qadr, right? Anzal malaikati wa ruh bi-idhni rabbihim kullun am salamun hiya hatta mitla al-fajr. And we described in the tafsir of Surat al-Qadr, it's a symbol from the sign of the sun, that the sun is the eternal light with the continuous signal and guidance to all of creation within its 10, 11 planets. All amr comes from the sun to the 11 planets, and it comes like a photon, they can see it with every command like a wireless Wi-Fi. The moon represents maqam al-fardani, the highest spiritual authority, as if they're sitting in each other's presence and their eyes upon the earth. And that's why the ancient people used to describe these solar eclipse as the eye of the Divine, because it looks like an eye with a black in the middle looking down. This is an eye of qadab. As a result it's an eye of punishment. You never look to punishment, either make you go mad, make you go sick and destroy you with every type of tajalli, because you don't look at Allah's anger. You go into sujood and pray to be protected from Allah's anger. Now look, these crazy people, they make glasses so that they can look at Allah's anger. Why? Because shaitan has fooled them. Why would you do that? They asked the native Indians, what do you think about this? He said, we hide. Ancient people, they say, when this come we hide. This is very sort of majestic signs, you don't look into it, you don't go out into it, we go and do our prayers. Exactly what Prophet described, that when this comes it's a sign for those who know what signs are. Go into your sujood, go into your salah, go and make du'a that Allah's ghadab and anger to protect from it. How? By making istighfar and salawat on Prophet, because Allah promised that would not punish them while they're making istighfar, and that you are with them. How to keep the presence of Prophet with us is by our salawat on Sayyidina Muhammad. So means there's something coming. The nazar of Allah upon these areas, yes, because they are responsible for what they've done. They cannot escape that which is eternal. You take the bodies and the vehicles of people and kill 1,000,000 people, but their souls you never took, and their souls are much more powerful now, all in the service of Sayyidina Mahdi waiting for their time. But because of what you did to the physicality, they are now responsible. These are the areas in which are responsible for these damages and these difficulties put upon humanity. Allah never leaves anyone to themselves. There's punishment in dunya and eternal punishment in akhirah. So means all these practices, all these teachings is a guidance, and guidance is a rahmah. To be safe from every type of difficulty, every type of ignorance, then alhamdulillah Allah asks people, then tune in. Look, our people understand they have to have food and they've been preparing their food. They have to have gold, they have to have silver, and they should have been preparing for that and going up 30-40% as a result anyways. Because heavenly currency is gold and silver. What are you going to do with money when the bank is closed? At least have some money in the bank in your house, not enough, not that much, because by a certain period of time even they won't take that paper, will be worthless. So it has to have savings of gold, has to have savings of silver. So all of these things have been a lifelong preparation. When it comes is up to Allah, but our faith is to show faith is that we live a life of preparedness, live a life of good deeds so that we're on Allah's good side. We don't harm people, we don't attack people, we don't do anything that would make Allah to be angry with us. And that's why the school is supposed to be a school of akhlaq and character. Others don't run it like that, they use their ability and their authority to attack and to demote and demean people. But that's not tariqah, tariqah is to push the way of love and ishq and muhabbat. So yes, many people are emailing about what's coming, and whatever is coming keep yourself in salah, in prayer and in sujood. Never look into these difficulties, never stare into the sky, and keep yourself away from these confusions. And live a life of preparedness, save food in your home, have cash in case you can't run to a bank every 5 minutes. Keep your gas in your car so it's never empty. It may be the only full tank you have left for a long period of time. And live your life with preparedness and keep your taweez, keep your practices, keep your durood al-sharif. You have the books to read at home or print out the articles from the internet. Life is not about, oh I'll always be able to log on, no. You may be many months of no logging on and no connecting anywhere, and then at that time becomes, now what have you prepared? It's the spiritual connection that's important, and the spiritual connection that is in a continuous broadcasting from the heavens inshaAllah. Alhamdulillah. See, we didn't need to start with anything, the question laid the direction inshaAllah.
As-salaamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Wa alaykum salaam wa rahmatullah.
Sayyidi, when we run towards the light of Sayyidina Muhammad away from the shadow, in which way it sets our life in order?
What Allah promises that if you come to me I'll fix all your life. If you run from me your life will never be fixed. So when Prophet was teaching the companions, the sun behind his head, he stood there. Why? Because he is the Shams, more powerful than the Shams, and telling the companions that, run to me. As soon as they're running to the reality, their shadow followed them, run after them. And he says, now that you understood, you run to the light, run towards guidance, run to Allah's rida and satisfaction. Where are you going to run to in Allah? Allah has no direction. So you run to the Prophet of Allah, seek refuge in the Prophet of Allah. You have to have a dunya connection for akhirah reality, because Allah is with Sayyidina Muhammad. Everyone thinks that they'll run in their own direction, and this is jahiliyyah and ignorance. Then when you run away, you turn around, because you can't turn your back to Prophet, but as soon as you turn from the sun, what happens? Your shadow in front of you. Now try to catch your shadow, because all your dunya is in there. As soon as you run, your shadow's running faster than you. You can't catch it. You'll never catch your dunya, you'll never catch your health, you'll never catch your guidance, you'll never catch anything running away from Allah. Everyone has a certain time if they make a deal with shaitan. Look, these big shaitans, now they're running, police is chasing them, they raped and molested everybody. So what happened? I thought this is the shaitan's one of his favorite guys, why are they running after him? Well, because shaitan only gives everybody a certain amount of years and then he destroys them, because he doesn't like people, he hates people, he hates Bani Adam. They sign their soul for years, 10 years, 15, 20 years, at the end he obliterates them, disgraces them and destroys them and spit them out as if they're nothing. So this is even the dunya people. So how are you going to win anything from dunya? And that's why awliyaullah come from the heart of Prophet, run towards Sayyidina Muhammad. If you need to know what will be fixed, then you probably don't understand what was broken. When you run to the presence of Prophet, what would be fixed? Your faith, because nobody has faith. Who has faith? People think they have faith, they don't have real faith. Their Islam will be fixed, their faith will be fixed, maqam al-ihsan will be fixed, their spiritual rizq will be fixed, their dunya rizq will be resolved. But they have to run towards Prophet. As they run towards Allah and the reality of Sayyidina Muhammad, what happens? Dunya becomes slave to them, and as a result is trying to please Allah and keep coming to them that, take whatever you want. What is it that you want? And Allah sets the believer's life and affairs in order. I think we described in Surah Tawbah at the beginning of the year when we were describing how to run towards Allah and He sets the affairs of the believer in order. Wasn't it when we described when Prophet that, don't turn your eyes from them? Was it in Surah Al-Kahf? We talked at the beginning of the year when Allah's verses were describing in the surah, when He was commanding the eyes of Prophet that, don't overlook the people of the bench for the people of the dunya, because they may be appeasing. But this is for the spiritual nazar of Prophet is not on these big Jazeera people with this huge $400 billion they put on a soccer. Allah's command for the holy eyes of Prophet is, look at the people whom they're busy with dhikr and ishq and muhabbat, and don't let your eyes to leave them. This is a glad tidings for the people of dhikr and mutahhireen whom trying to clean themselves, that the nazar of Prophet eternally upon them and not distracted by the pomp and glory of people. And as a result, imagine then what would be resolved if Prophet is nazar upon you. When your children are sick, Prophet prays because his nazar on you. Not when you ignored the whole time and then you email, now please something's wrong help me. But when you lived your life in this khidmat, in this service, you lived your life running towards Him running towards Allah Most High. Of course their nazar is upon your entire life. Anything goes wrong, they're the ones resolving and fixing. Allah fixes the condition of the believer because they have the correct love and character. They're following Allah's Habib Sayyidina Muhammad say everything we can imagine. How would it ever get resolved? How does anything get resolved? And if you cut out Prophet no difference between Dajjal. So the people now preparing for Dajjal, they've already agreed to cut out Sayyidina Muhammad and they're all going to get together and they're going to talk a lot about Allah, a lot about Allah. We're going to say, oh it's amazing, they talk so much about Allah. But yeah, there's no mention of Muhammadun Rasulullah. So there's no key. The key and the entry to La ilaha illallah is only through Muhammadun Rasulullah. So false unity and false telling us, oh we're all the same, we're not the same, look how they slaughtered everyone. They have no interest in same. They said they opened up now alcohol in that region. Yeah, they opened up also the orientation, people can be in different orientations. He opened everything, he sold the religion so.
As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Wa alaykum as-salam wa rahmatullah.
Sayyidi, so we have solar eclipse, the red heifers, sacrifice, NASA rockets, and now they're starting to open the CERN using the Large Hadron Collider and conducting occult ceremony, all coinciding. Even the scientists were saying there was an invisible 4D energy present when they started the CERN.
Yeah, they call ghosts, they saw jinn and the jinn disrupting their experiments. So yeah, they're opening a portal, and this was in the talks of the portals. Because one of the directions shaitan pulls people is in knowledge, right? Fashion, food, knowledge, you go all 6 directions of where he's going. In his teachings of knowledge, He wants to teach people these scientific things. We have portals, we have these things, all these things. So people say, oh there's no need for religion, look the massiveness of science, these guys can open something and go through a dimension. And to counter what shaitan is doing, we gave the whole section on Islam. Islam is all portals. Everything about Islam is about heavenly portals. We don't need a portal from here to New York, that is not going to help anybody. What you need is a portal from paradise. So every time believers sit and they make a intention for zikr, that becomes a portal from paradise. Who comes through that portal for the believers? The angels. And if you sit for majlis Sali ala Nabi to praise upon Prophet, then who will come through that portal is the presence of Prophet. So all of Islam was given to us in those verses and in those teachings we gave, Ashabul Kahf, how they stepped for 309 years but they say it was one day. How they entered into a cave, Allah moved them in time and space and 309 days passed. But for them they got up, shook their clothes and say, we've been here for a day. I think we've been here for about a day, maybe half a day. So it means throughout Qur'an are portals. As soon as you begin to fast, they say the gates of paradise open for the servants who make intention and enter into siyam. Through these portals of paradise, dresses and realities that are dressing upon the soul, eternal soul. So no, Islam and the knowledges the shaykhs are teaching is countering what shaitan is trying to attract people to his knowledge. When Islam is the only religion of Allah, there is no other religion of Allah. Islam is the only religion of Allah and the only connection to divine portals. Through every word they teach and through every associations and gatherings are all the portals of angels, which coming who? Nabiyeen, Siddiqeen, Shuhada wa Saliheen. From amongst them Budala, Nujab, Nuqab, Awtad wal Akhyar, Malaika wa Jinn. 7 categories of these rijal and ulul amr moving through these portals, dressing the homes of the servants, the heart and the soul of the servants everywhere. No heavenly portals. Any other faith say they have heavenly portals, they're lying, they lost it, they don't follow their kitab, they follow books of magic. And the other one, as soon as they claimed the man to be God, they lost the heavenly key. When you lose the heavenly key, you know what happened when Sayyidina Sulaiman angered Allah? He had a wife that asked him, please make a statue in your house for my dad. And he said, oh I can't do that. He made a statue for the wife and his wazir came and said, this is going to anger Allah very much, you're muwahhid, you're people of oneness. Oh it's nothing really big, I don't believe it, it's just in the thing. And it came and ignorance came and a permission was given for Ifrit to make the identity of Sayyidina Sulaiman, because every time he would go to make wudu he would take his ring off and have his wife to hold his ring while he makes his wudu so that he can come out. But because Allah became angered, this is a proof and dalil of when Allah becomes angered with a people everything is cut. The Ifrit was given permission, the main Ifrit who very much despised him was given permission. He made his Shaykh like the image of Sayyidina Sulaiman appeared when he went in for wudu, he came and made the appearance that, can I have my ring back? He took the ring, as a result he gained the power, he took the image of Sayyidina Sulaiman and he went upon his throne and governed the kingdom. And when Sayyidina Sulaiman came out his image was changed and they kicked him out of the palace because they said, what are you doing in this palace? Who are you in this palace? And his whole shaykh had changed. And he went through that test until he could regain his connection with Allah. But But these people whom have gone astray, they have made deals with devils. The killing that they're doing, they're giving this as sacrifices for demons. So they have no connection to the heavens, they have not a word they recite will bring a heavenly tajalli. So that door is closed. Means the only one whom have the words of the heavens and the tajalli of the heavens is Islam. And you see its purity and you see its reality, and they don't make a shirk with Allah, they don't make a Prophet to be a God, that the Prophet is the servant of Allah, and they don't say they're waiting for somebody to come onto this earth and call himself a God. So those are become cut from any heavenly connection. The shaitans have to give them power and then they feel they have a power. But what is shaitan in the face of Allah? Nothing. He has a temporary game until Allah deals with him, inshaAllah.
As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sayyidi, a few people are asking, on the day of the eclipse, the people that have to work or go to school, what are the precautions we can take on that day?
Yeah, you don't have to stare into the sky. Just close your eyes, make your du'a at your work and at your booth. You just sit, make your du'a that Allah protect you, protect your family, your loved ones. And Allah knows what condition He puts His servant on. He wrote for you to be on a bus, you're on a bus, but doesn't mean you go out the window and start staring. So this is the danger, is that the shaitans are telling people, here buy these glasses, and then with these glasses stare into Allah's anger. You know what happened to the wife of Lut? The angel said, Allah's about to destroy this village, run, don't look back. Why? Because you're not allowed to look at the angels of revenge. So when she turned back, her nazar is upon the angels of qadab and revenge, that nobody can carry that, don't look at that. As a result when she looked, she turned immediately to stone. So it means that don't look to Allah's anger. If Allah's anger is coming and qadab is coming, we are people from the heavens and guided from the heavens that make du'a and stay away from that. So alhamdulillah, this is immense guidance from Prophet and the one whom connected to the heavens, and his love for his nation and all nations that should return to the reality of Sayyidina Muhammad. Many are coming. They say the most amount of people are leaving religion and the most amount of people are coming to Islam, because they realize this stuff. How are you going to call a man a god and he's going to come and he's going to eat and go to the facility and washroom? He's not a god. And how you killed your god and now he's back your god got shut off and then he got turned back on. This is a rubbish and garbage that not even a child would accept. So this is a day in which they say these things and people come to their consciousness, yeah, this sounds ridiculous. And that's when إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ وَالْفَتْحُ. You know, when everything's good we describe, it's very difficult to take appreciation for what guidance is. But when things go bad, then you understand what guidance is. You know, people think they don't need a ta'weez, well wait until a couple things are crawling on your windows, your doors, and darkness outside and howling and screaming, and they teach you, don't open the doors. Then you understand what the ta'weez and how Allah guided you. When the people who fought ta'weez and didn't want ta'weez, they have so much demons inside their home that they will eat them inside the home, they don't even need to come from outside to come in, because people see them. What we described last night, why Allah said, don't go to these masjids abadan. And 9 Tawbah, this is the gate of our realities, 107, Allah starts with abadan, abadan. It's not a small like, I don't think so, it's abadan, never, never, never. Why? Because there's things in there, it's not what you think. Shaykh Dagestani said, I stepped into one of these places that was not a correct place and 100 days of darkness attacked upon me. That for 100 days with the Sultan al-Awliya, with what type of power, I'm sure he's giving us this to be fearful, that how much he had to clean this negativity. And people who can see, they've gone to some of these crazy places, they see the like gargoyles in the area of their khutbah. So those shaitans are there to misguide. So that reference of the ayat al-Kareem is actually Allah is describing those structures are created by shaitans to misguide people. So that's something big to try to misguide in La ilaha illallah Muhammadun Rasulullah. It's not something small, those must be very big shaitans that are able to make this type of facilities, make this type of belief, and that anyone entering that belief they become rude, they become arrogant, they become against Prophet. What is it then you're believing in those structures? And you can understand it's Hizb shaitan and the party of shaitan and the belief of shaitan, which is based on pride, arrogance and bad character. And then when they get in disputes they punch and beat each other, so they actually have absolutely no manners. So that's not something small. So if they already have shaitan in their place of worship, what shaitan you think they have in their home? Where Allah says, don't step into their masjid abadan. Well, if their masjid is abadan, imagine their home. This is the concept of tafakkur, we have to think. Allah warning us that things are becoming very dangerous. The people whom are propagating and giving them money and giving them their aqeedah, they sold the religion. You enter into their place of worship, Allah is giving warning, abadan, don't step into there, you probably won't step out healthy. Then imagine if their place of worship is like that, what is their home? Where the demons rest and reside and sleep with them. Yeah. So very, very dangerous time, very, very bad time. Faith is not something that you can take for granted, faith is something you guard and protect. And you go to the people whom are loving and their character. You see the proof by the people whom been taught by a shaykh that their people are loving and kind and they have good character. That's the proof is in the action. Not in just the words but in their action and their deeds. You go and see, okay, thousands of people being fed, thousands of wells being produced, all by the volunteers, all by the students. Each one going out having good character, loving character, good nature. This is what important. So we are people whom are vigilant over our heart, that don't give your heart to just anyone, don't just go anywhere, inshaAllah.
As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sayyidi, in so many of your talks you always speak about controlling our anger. Is there a reason why we have to fix our anger in dunya? Are there matters in heaven that can potentially enrage us?
In heaven you can't get past that gate. When the shaykhs went into seclusion, remember they went to the grave that waits for most people. The shaykhs have gone into their seclusion, not shaykhs, we speak from our own teachings, and other people have never gone to seclusion. But a shaykh who's gone to seclusion understands the grave because Allah opened and showed him the grave. And as a result of bad character, each bad character takes on a creature. And as soon as you're 2-3 days of warming up, you're sitting in the khalwa, it's your qabr. And one by one Allah will bring out your bad character manifested with a creature, an animal, and that animal will be attacking you. So when you talk about going to heaven, you're not going to get past that grave with those guys because you're not taking any creatures into heaven. So whether your qabr is going to be 40 days or 400 days or a lifetime of azab, because those issues have to be resolved within the grave. So that's why we teach, and the teaching of Mawlana Shaykh, the teaching of Prophet is what? Clean now, clean it now. If you clean it now, less in the grave, less in the grave, quicker towards your paradise reality and the beatific realities that Allah has in store for the servant. But nobody's leaving, every character will have a creature. Even we did a seclusion with another individual, the bad nature of that individual, that every time the person walked around wasps were appearing. Physical wasps were appearing everywhere because the character was like that, just stinging. Not a bee which stings you because it has honey, a wasp just is a creature like a Wahhabi, just sting you, sting you, sting you, serves no purpose, and you don't die after he stings, he keeps stinging you. So yeah, characters, rat character comes out. We said the big black dog is anger, that as soon as they sit they start making their connection, black dogs are in front of them and they're allowed to bite you but they can't rip your skin. So all day long they're biting at your face, your privates, your arms, everything. There's nothing off for them. They just keep biting you until you can make your zikr, your istighfar, your connection. And only through your connection to begin to push it away and to make it to be something beatific. But it has to be through istighfar and through their madad and through their practices. So the shaykhs have seen the azab of the grave, it's not something imaginary or it's not a philosophy. That's why when they talk, it's not like other people talking that they read something and now convey to you what they read. Allah showed them, they went through this qab, they went through that azab, through their training, their connection, through all their salawats, their madad, everything. Then they went from phases and phases, that from this punishment then to this reality, this character, all of these different realities. So that's why the guidance is real guidance, it's not a philosophy. They don't talk like, what do you think about that? Oh, you really think like that? Maybe no, it's not about thinking anything, it's about witnessing. These are the people of taste, they taste the bad, they taste the good. So their teachings are real. If people accept it, alhamdulillah, if they don't they can wait to go find out, and then when they're in the grave they'll remember, my shaykh told me about the biting dogs. And just like in the horror movies, that when the rat character comes out, the character that always just try to make problems and spread fitna, the rats come everywhere, biting every part of your body that you can't imagine. Biting at your eyes, biting at your private area, biting from every place that you can't imagine and you think it to be sensitive. These rats come all over the servant until they can make with their zikr their connection. The more powerful their connection, then they can ask for a madad and support and begin to push these energies away. Then imagine the people whom have no understanding of connection, they're in that perpetually. And then imagine the people whom never taught the intercession of Sayyidina Muhammad, nothing, they're stuck like that. So torment of the grave is something that people can't imagine. Then we understand, when we came out from these situations, we understand the immense rahmah of Allah, that how I saved you by giving you all these understandings of love, until they saw the position of the fire of their grave. And the only way the fire would be resolved is not what they thought they knew of Allah, because as much as they said Allah, nothing answered them. As much as they cried out to Allah, nothing answered them. As much as they relieve and ask relief that Allah save me, nothing answered them. Nothing. Burning, their grave burning, the only thing Allah accepted is when they called on, Ya Rasulullah, only thing, only thing. Because Allah doesn't want to give a reward to bad character. That you have a Prophet, you should love your Prophet, he is your intercessor. That don't even call upon me and I won't answer until he arrives. As soon as their heart began to keep asking for Prophet, One nazar of Prophet upon the grave, all fire stops, all burning stops, all azab stops. This is the beatific reality of Sayyidina Muhammad. This is immense rahmah, the gift that Allah has given to the nation. And if you don't believe, go to the hospital. In the ER you'll hear everybody yelling for help. We've taught all our life this reality. Go to the ER room in a hospital, you hear everybody yelling for their mama, their baba, somebody to help them, because their intrinsic nature of being arrogant all their life, as soon as you're sick in a hospital you have no more arrogance, you're just crying for somebody to help you. Who's going to help you? Nobody helps you. Those whom were understood and understood madad and realities, if they go, of course they're going to call upon their shaykhs, of course they're going to make salawat and call upon Prophet, intercede for my condition, take me from this difficulty, relieve me of this torment. This was a key of immense mercy that people don't know the value of that key until they end up in that situation. So we pray that Allah grant us this immense love, this ishq, this muhabbat. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifoon wa salaamun al mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen bi hurmati Muhammadin Mustafa wa bi siri Surat al-Fatiha. Ya Rasul Kareem, Ameen. As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Shaykh Nurjan. Thank you for watching the video that you're watching. Inshallah, if you're happy with the content and happy with these programs, please support the button below, the programs that we have for our orphanage repairs, our water well, Give the Gift of Life, our mobile food vans. We have now 5 vans: Vancouver, Chicago, Los Angeles, Pakistan. There's many programs that reach thousands of people and rescue foods and give those supplies to people in need. Your support is greatly appreciated. Also, be so kind as to leave loving comments and please share the stream. Every bit counts. As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.